What's going on, duelists? It's your boy Nick, bringing you on the channel today, as promised, since we got the Libromancer Mikanko deck profile to 15 likes, my test hand and combo tutorial video for my Libro Mikanko deck post Cyberstorm Access. I also want to say thank you all so much for your continued support. We just hit 800 subscribers on the channel, and I cannot be more grateful for your guys' time and, watching my content, liking my videos, commenting, just, helping push my stuff. That way the YouTube algorithm keeps recommending my videos. I can't appreciate it enough. Thank you all so much. Like I said, I'm really going to try and work my hardest to continue bringing you guys really unique content, stuff that you won't really find anywhere else. So with that being said, welcome. My name's Nick. We do Yu-Gi-Oh! Content mainly focused around rogue and casual decks alike. There's plenty of content here, and I've covered a ton of things. We do live duel videos, test hands, deck profiles. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you like Libromancer Mikanko, and get ready because this particular version is not like any other Libro Mikanko list that I've seen. This version takes full advantage of the fact that Libromancer Fire happens to be a Cybers type monster, and this is more of a Link-focused variant of the deck, not a Archlord Christia version, nor is it an Isolde variant, because quite frankly, I don't really like either of those, and I don't really think that they're that great. The Christia version, I'm just not a fan of the Floodgate Turbo style, at least for this particular deck, because there's so many cool nuances that it has that I feel like resorting to Floodgate Turbo, just, it's not really that fun. And the Isolde variant, I feel, just gets choked out by too many hand traps now, and if the Isolde line gets snuffed out, you don't really have a play. You kind of just pass on a very terrible board, and then you get steamrolled on the crackback. But this particular version doesn't really suffer from those issues. However, the biggest problem that we have to face is Droll and Lockbird, since apparently everyone and their grandmother is now going to be mainboarding that card for this upcoming format, and I was hard-pressed to find a really good solution to outing Droll, and I still don't believe that I have one. Right now, the only thing that I can say is that, like in the deck profile, I did make a change to this list. I'll leave a link in the description below for the profile, so you can check it out. But I actually, in the profile, I was running 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talents, and I mentioned that I was waiting for this card to come in the mail called Sales Ban, which finally came. So I have a playset of Sales Bans here, and we're mainboarding this card. In place of the 2 talents. Now, obviously, we took out 2 cards and added 3, but I didn't want the deck count to change. I wanted to keep the deck at 44. So what I did was I cut the Libromancer origin story from a 2 of to a 1 of. So we're on 1 origin, and then I took out the 2 talents, and that made the space for the triple copies of Sales Ban. Now, why do I value this card so much? It's because right now, this is really the best way that we have to play through Droll. Because, most Libromancer Mikanko decks, they use Herald of the Diviner of the Herald as a normal summon, and then they dump an Arclight to get a search, and then you have Libromancer Fire, Special Fire, and then Herald, Diviner, and Fire make a Baron, and that you puts up an Omni Negate. But the problem is that the Diviner line plays into Droll already. Like if you actually need the search off the Arclight, you can just get Drolled right there, and then you're pretty much cooked because this deck does do a lot of searching. So, that isn't really reliable, especially when you consider the fact that Sprite Elf is banned, so we don't really have the way to abuse Diviner on both players' turns like we used to. So, for me, that card lost a lot of its luster. So, the best way that I can think of is running Sales Ban. In this card, you declare a card name. For the rest of this turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with the same original name as the declared card. The same restrictions apply to you, but for the rest of the duel instead of just the turn. So, even if they don't have Droll, this is really, you activate this, call Droll. If they have it, then they can't use it. And if they don't have it, well, you're kind of at least trying to play around it. Or at least post game 1, once you see what hand traps they're on, this card becomes a bit better, like in games 2 and 3, once you know what deck they're on. Also, going second, this card's great to address, boards. The opponent ends on, an Omni Negate of some sort. You can Sales Ban, declare Baron de Fleur, for example, and they either got to waste the Baron Negate on this card, or they choose not to negate, and then Sales Ban resolves, and now they can't use Baron for that turn. So, it kind of, turns off certain threats, so I like it for going second as well. But, you know, this is really the best way that I can say it to it. We can play through Droll, because another option will be to run cards like Crossout Designator and then play copies of Droll ourselves. But then, like, it takes too many main deck slots, in my opinion. And, you know, you can only cross out the cards that you're running as targets. So it's like, you know, you can't address everything. Whereas at least with this card, you have the flexibility of just declaring whatever name you want. Also, not to mention, another way it could be like playing Parallel Exceed to make Trap Tricks or Flesia, and then, you know, dumping cards like Gravedigger's Trap Hole to stop hand traps. But, like, that also doesn't seem very consistent. You got to max out on Parallel Exceeds. You need to be able to link summon first, and then you have to hope that you don't hard draw the Gravedigger's Trap Hole, because if you do, the whole line is dead anyway. So all those ways to try and play through Droll just don't seem very consistent. So unfortunately, this is the best way, and I'm not saying it's the greatest way, but it's the best out of the scenarios that I just, you know, gave to you here. So we're main decking triple copies of Salesman. The deck is still at 44 cards. Like I said, we cut down on Origin Story from 2 of to a 1 of, and we cut the 2 copies of Talents to make space for it. So sorry for the extended intro. I just wanted to get that out off my chest so that way you guys understand my logic behind running Salesman. And now with that being said, guys, let's get into the combos. So we're going to start with the simple 2-card combo here. Libro Fire and Ohime. Now, this combo can be done just the same with any Libro. Not any. It has to be Geek Boy or Fire specifically, or it can be any ritual, though. It does not have to be Ohime. So just prefacing that. So what you can do here is you can reveal Ohime to special summon Fire to your field, activate Fire effect, so go ahead and search for a Libromancer monster. You're going to grab the Geek Boy. You're going to reveal Ohime again, special Geek Boy, use Geek Boy effect to search for a Libromancer spell. Now what you're going to grab is brand new, the Origin Story from Cyberstorm Access. You're going to activate Origin Story and use its effect to set a Libromancer spell or trap directly from the deck to your field, which is usually going to be the field spell. If you already have the field spell, though, you can use this card to set some of the Libromancer traps, which is nice. So you're going to set the field spell, activate the field spell, which allows you to add a Libromancer card from the deck to your hand, except one that you control. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and grab... If we're going second, you can grab Fire Burst for that OTK potential. Or if we're going first, which this test hand, or this 2-card combo, I guess, is showcasing, you can grab a Doombroker. Now what you can do here is, you can just use the effect of first appearance, tributing both of those for the ritual material to summon Doombroker, then go Doombroker effect to go ahead and set a Libromancer trap directly from your deck. Usually what you're going to be setting most of the time is going to be Intervention. However, if you already have access to Intervention because you got it off Origin Story, you can actually go ahead and set a copy of Displaced, which is another very good Libromancer trap. It's pretty much a Snatch Steal, which is very cool. So either one, but usually for this combo we're going to go for Intervention, which is an Omni Negate, which is really cool. And then with the Ohime in hand, you can actually use Ohime's own effect to reveal herself, and then search for a Mikanko card, and then you discard a card from hand. So what you can do is you can grab almost whatever you want. I mean, you can grab Arabesque, and then you'd have to pitch either the Arabesque or the Ohime, but that could give you follow-up, or based on whatever else is in your hand. Again, this is just intended to be a 2-card combo, though. But it still ends on a 3100 attack Doombroker. He gets the stat boost from the Origin Story, because he gains attack times his level by 100, and we have at least an Omni Negate in the back row with follow-up, because when we use Intervention, we can bring back Fire, and Fire gets us another search for the follow-up. So that was just a simple 2-card line, showcasing, what Fire can do in a ritual. But if you want to take it a step beyond that, here is another 2-card combo I will show you guys. So what happens if you have a Mikanko, and how do we want to do this? I guess we can do, let's do an Arabesque. And I guess, just the Fire. It doesn't really matter. So here. So if we have a Mikanko Water Arabesque and Libro Fire, you can normal summon the Libro Fire, use Arabesque, equipping it to Fire, then use Arabesque's effect to go ahead and special summon a Mikanko from your hand or deck with a different name than the currently equipped monster. In this case, we can go ahead and grab either one of two things. We can grab a Hare, or we can also grab the Huli, which is the brand new one if I could find her. I don't know why I'm having trouble. There it is. You can summon either or. Hooli's the brand new one. Hare's the one that we've had. Let's go for a Hare line. We bounce the fire back to the hand. And then what happens is Hare triggers to search for a Mikanko equip. Since she is now equipped with an equip card, we can go ahead and grab any other Mikanko equip we want. Could be Fire Dance. It could be the new one, Meo Washidori, which is really, really nice. And that's, how you can use Water Arabesque, assuming you're using it on your own monsters. Again, that's just to kind of show you how we can get access to the Mikanko part of the deck. Because even if we don't draw a Mikanko, if we have equips like Arabesque, we can use Arabesque to our advantage and gain access to our engine. But those are obviously simple lines, not too crazy. What's crazy is the normal summon that I choose to run in this list. It's Clock Wyvern. So like I mentioned earlier in this video, I'm not running Diviner the Herald because I feel like the card just doesn't do enough now. And it plays into Droll. This card gets us into a really unique combo that we can actually try to play around Droll up to a point. We might still get Drolled, but at that point our hand is actually okay enough for us to play through it. And let me kind of explain how that works. So what we need is Clock Wyvern and a spell. Let's just use Italy as an example. It doesn't not have to be Italy. It could be any spell, really. Or I guess mainly a spell that goes to grave. So like it can't be like a continuous or an equip unless you're going to take the equip spell on the monster that's equipped to it and send it to grave. It needs to be a spell that has to go to grave. And I'll explain why that's important in a bit. But 2-card combo, Clock Wyvern, Italy. We're going to normal summon Clock Wyvern. It's a level 4 wind Cybers monster, for those of you who don't know what this card is. Originally came out in Soul Fusion. So we normal summon Clock Wyvern. Upon normal or special, he can have his attack, and then he summons a Clock token. It's a level 1 Cybers Wind, attack 0, defense 0 to your side of the field. Now, what's cool about this is most token-producing cards tend to lock you into something after you resolve that effect, but this card does not. So it's just a free, it's one normal summon that turns into 2 free bodies. Now, why that's important is because you're going to link off that level 1 Cybers token he made for a copy of a card called Link Disciple. A Link 1 monster that requires a level 4 or lower Cybers monster as material. Then you're going to take the Clock Wyvern and use that as Link material as well to go ahead and make a copy of Link Devotee. Another Link 1 monster that requires a level 4 or lower Cybers. Now, at this point, we are going to, once Link Devotee does get summoned, he has a mandatory effect that activates, which prevents us from Link summoning Link 3 or higher monsters for the remainder of the turn, but that's not a problem. So what we're going to do here is we can go Link Disciple's effect, since these cards are co-linked because they point to each other. We're going to go Link Disciple, Tribute Devotee. Now, we can... It's going to make us draw a card, and then we're going to put a card from our hand back on the bottom of the deck. So that gives us some cycling ability, which is nice in case we do need to fix our hand a bit, or in case we do draw a card we just don't want in our hand, for example. However, that plays into Droll, which is the main issue that I'm trying to correct here. So what we can actually do at this point so here, let me show you the way that plays into Droll, because assuming you had Sales Band and called Droll, this interaction won't matter. So let's go ahead and use that Disciple effect, Tributing Devotee. We'll draw a card. We'll just put it back. In this case, it's a 2-card combo, so we're just playing with the Italy that we started with and Clock Wyvern. But because Link Devotee was tributed, he produces 2 Cybers tokens, or Link tokens, excuse me, which are level 1 Cybers monsters with 0 attack, 0 defense to the field. So now what we can do here is we can link off the Disciple and the token to make a monster called Cyber Switch. She is a Link 2 monster, requires 2 Cybers monsters as material, and she is insanely powerful. So we make Cyber Switch here. Now what we do is we go Italy, the special, any level 3 psychic from our deck. It could be Geek Boy, or it also could be the Hooli, the Jewel Mikanko. In this case, let's go for Geek Boy. Special Geek Boy to a zone she points to. Now, that triggers both Geek Boy and Cyber Switch's effects, since they were monster was summoned to a zone she points to, and Geek Boy was special summoned. So we can actually chain block the Cyber Switch here. That way, if they do have Ash, they can only stop the Geek Boy. So we'll go Chainlink 1 Witch, Chainlink 2 Geek Boy, banish the spell in our grave for cost for Cyber Switch's effect, and assuming that, everything goes through, Geek Boy is going to let us search for a Libromancer spell, which we will be grabbing the brand new, the new one out of Cyberstorm Access, Origin Story. And then Cyber Switch is going to allow us to search for a Cybers Ritual monster and a Signet Ritual. So Signet Ritual is our one of. And then we can search for a Cyber's Ritual monster off the Witch, which could be Cyber Sage, brand new out of Cyberstorm Access. Or if we need to, we can grab a copy of the... If I could find him, what is it with me not being able to find my cards when I'm searching through the deck? Fireburst, because Fireburst is also a Cyber's Ritual monster. So it really depends. If we're going first, though, we're usually going to be searching for the Sage 90% of the time. So now, this is our hand, assuming all this resolves. We go Origin Story to set a Libro spell, which is always going to be the field spell. So we'll set the field spell, activate the field spell, obviously. We'll set it, activate it, use its effect to search for fire. Then what we can do here is we can go reveal the Cyber Sage in hand, special fire. Fire effect to search for a Libro monster, which can be Doombroker. Again, if we're going first, Doombroker is a very good disruption to establish. So we grab the Doombroker, and now at this point, what we can do is we can link off the Fire and the Geek Boy for a copy of IP Masquerena. Because even though we cannot make Link 3 or higher monsters this turn, that does not stop us from doing so on the opponent's turn. Then what we're going to do is we are going to use the other effect of Witch. Since her first effect was used this turn, she can actually target a Cyber's monster in our graveyard and special summon it. So we're going to revive the Fire off the Witch effect. And then we're going to use our Cyanite Ritual, tributing our level 1 token to Ritual Summon Cyber Sage from hand. Then we're going to go Sage effect. She banishes material from grave to Fusion Summon. So we're going to banish both of our Link monsters, the Disciple and the Devotee, to go ahead and Fusion Summon into a Cyber's Deceive Worm from our extra deck. Now, if we had another Cyber's monster in hand, we can actually use Deceive Worm's effect to special it, but we don't need to here. Cyber Sage is a Ritual Tuner, level 1, and Deceive Worm's a level 6 non-tuner. So we're going to go ahead and synchro these off for a level 7, which puts us a Cyber's Quantum Dragon on our side of the field. Now, because Sage went to the graveyard for synchro material, she can actually target a ritual spell or a Cyber's monster in grave and add it to hand. So we're going to grab the Clock Wyvern that we initially started with and add that back to our hand. Now, what's crazy about this is we're not even done, but at this point, so like what's funny about Masquerena is that as good as she is, her biggest Achilles heel is that usually she just gets, like, the opponent goes normal summon and then they go battle phase and try to bait her out early. Or she gets targeted by something like Imperm, like on their turn as their first action, so we can't, like, Link. That cannot happen while we have this Synchron field, which is Cyber's Quantum Dragon. While we control a Link monster, the monsters the opponent controls cannot target anything for an attacks except him. Also, the opponent cannot target other monsters we control with card effects, except him. So all of our other monsters on our field cannot be targeted by effects, nor can they be selected for an attack target. So the opponent cannot just go battle phase and try to play around this. Also, at the start of damage step, if Cyber's Quantum battles an opponent's monster, he returns that opponent's monster to the hand at the start of damage step. Non-target, non-destruction, which is insane. But anyway, we're going to use the first appearance effect to go ahead and tribute our Fire on field and our Clock Wyvern in hand to go ahead and Ritual Summon Doombroker. And then we go Doombroker effect to go ahead and set Intervention, for example. And that was literally off a 2-card line. We started with Clock Wyvern and an E-Telly. And this is the board that we established. Now, on the opponent's turn, what's going to end up happening is that we already have an Omni Negate through Intervention, which will bounce the Doombroker, and then it'll revive the Fire, which will trigger us a search to add something to our hand. But then we have the IP, which we can use her quick effect to link, using her, the Witch, and like the Fire that we're going to end up with on the opponent's turn, to go into a link. We can make Appaloosa, which again, we still control Cyber's Quantum, so they can't battle the Appaloosa either, which means they can only attack this, so we're going to use every single monster negate that she has. The opponent will not be able to hit over her easily, nor can she be targeted by effects. Or we can go into the Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid line, which is really cool. Or if we have, assuming, again, this is a 2-card combo, but assuming we had a full 5-card hand, we'd usually have another monster here, which would give us enough material to make Singularity, the new Link 6 out of Cyberstorm Access. And if that wasn't bad enough, like, all that seems great, but what trips me out is the fact that the Cyber's Deceive Worm that we fused into using Sage, he is a spell trap negate out of the graveyard by banishing himself while we control a Link 4 or higher Cyber's monster. So we have even more disruption while going through these lines, in addition to like these links being houses of cards. You know, Apple is a, you know, at least a 3 monster negate minimum. Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid is a 2 monster negate and jumps to like 8,000 attack. And Singularity is he can bounce up to 3 cards as a quick effect. The reason why it's up to 3 is because it's based on the different types of Cybers cards you have on field and grave. So we have Synchro, Ritual, and Fusion, which is why he can bounce up to 3 as a quick effect. And then he gains 500 attack for each. Also keeping in mind that with IP, the monster we make off of her cannot be destroyed by card effects either. So that's why we run the Clock Wyvern in this deck. Now, if you want to rewind a little bit, before pretty much to the point where we were here. So if you were really trying to play around the Droll, for example, here, let's go back real quick. All right, so we started with Clock Wyvern and E-Telly. We don't have anything else. So rewinding back to this juncture here. If you are trying to play around Droll because you're worried about it, you do not have to use Link Disciple's effect because that draw is mandatory. So once you draw a card and put one back, they control you. If you're trying to play around Droll, you can just take the Devotee and the Disciple. Again, we got there with Clock Wyvern. None of Clock Wyvern's effects are effects that actually let us get Drolled. And we can just hard make the Cyber Switch right there. Now, the only thing that we lose out of that exchange is the 2 tokens that Devotee would have given us. But in the grand scheme, we really don't need those tokens. They're just free bodies. Now we still go E-Telly to summon Geek Boy. And now we can go Chainlink 1 Witch, Chainlink 2 Geek Boy. Which they're going to resolve, assuming we're talking about Droll specifically here. Geek Boy is going to grab us the Origin. And then off of Witch, we grab the Cyanide Ritual and Sage. Now, if they Droll us here, that's fine. We can still cook. We can go Origin Story to set from our deck to our field. Now, we probably won't get the field spell because, again, that requires us to search. Let's see here. Could probably still grab, maybe not Intervention. Let's go grab Displaced. Let's just grab Displaced. Now what we can do is we can go Cyanide Ritual, using the Geek Boy as the material to summon the Sage. Sage effect, banish both the links to produce the Deceive Worm. And then we can still go Sage and Deceive Worm into an IP. Now we lose out on the Quantum Dragon, but we still actually make a decent play because we'll pass turn, obviously. Again, we're trying to play under Droll. But IP Masquerade is still live to Link. We can go her and Cyber Switch into maybe like an access code, for example. Or really whatever you want. Again, this is, keep in mind, this is a 2-card line. We're still going to have other cards in our hand. But this is what you can do on just those 2 cards, Clock Wyvern and E-Telly specifically. And this is the version where we're trying to play under Droll. But if we make access code, we still have Deceive Worm for a spell trap negate out of the graveyard, and then our access code is 4300 and can't be destroyed by card effects. So it is still a pretty decent board, in my opinion. And like I said, that's us trying to play under Droll. So those are the combos. I know this video is getting a little long. Before we wrap it up, let's do a test hand. I'll pile shuffle live for you guys here on the channel, and you guys are going to go ahead and check this out. Hopefully we don't break. I mean, if we do, that's the pleasure of doing these videos without editing anything. This is like fresh, off the cuff. This gives you the most real interaction you're going to have, and that's one of the things I like about my channel is the fact that this is about as real as it gets when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! So what you see is pretty much what you get. But anyway, so you can kind of see why I play Clock Wyvern in this list, because it gives us a way to kind of like not lose so badly to Droll. And because the Libromancer stuff, some of them are fire type, we can actually abuse that with some of the new support out of CYAC. So there's my shuffle. I'm going to cut, and let's see what this test hand gets us. Water Arabesque, Pre-Prep, Cyanide Mining, Agent, Geek Boy. Okay, so let's see what we can do with this test hand, guys. Let's see what we can do. Let's Let's grab mining. We're gonna pitch agent. We're getting to the line, boys. We're gonna grab the clock wyvern. Normal clock wyvern. Have its attack produce a link token. Link off the token. For disciple, link the clock wyvern. For devotee, disciple effect, tribute devotee. We're gonna draw a card and then put one card from our hand on the bottom of the deck. Probably what we drew. Devotee triggers, producing 2 more tokens. Link those tokens off. Or link the 2 Cybers monsters off, excuse me. 1 token, 1 link for the copy of Cyber Switch. Then we can go pre-prep. Let's go ahead and grab a ritual to our hand. Let's grab Ben 10. We're going all the way. Now we can reveal Ben 10. Special Geek Boy. Chainlink 1 Witch. Chainlink 2 Geek Boy. So again, chain blocking here again, which is really cool. Off of Geek Boy, we are going to grab the brand new spell, Origin Story, and then off the Cyber Switch, we are going to grab the Sage and a Signet Ritual. Okay, so now our hand consists of all this you see here. We're going to go Origin Story. That's going to get us our field spell for Libromancers. First appearance, you set it, but you activate it and then get the search. We'll grab a Doom Broker. Or actually, no, sorry, hold on, excuse me. Not Doom Broker, we're going to grab Fire. Then we'll reveal the Ben 10. Special Fire. Fire Search Doom Broker. There, that's how you do it. Link Fire and Geek Boy off for an IP. Then we're going to go ahead and Signet Ritual. Tribute the token, level 1 token, to make Sage. Sage effect. Banishing the 2 Link monsters out of our graveyard to fuse into Deceive Worm. Then Deceive Worm and Sage synchro into Quantum, triggering Sage in the graveyard to add back a Cyberse to our hand. We'll grab the Wyvern, and then we'll go Witch effect to revive the Fire, since she can revive a level 4 lower Cyberse from grave if you use Witch's first effect. Very good card. Now we can go the effect of first appearance, tributing the Ben 10 to go ahead and ritual Doombroker. Chain Bent, or not chain, but activate Ben 10 since it was tributed to search for Ohime, who's a light fairy. Then we go Doombroker effect to set the trap. So we grab our intervention. Then we can actually go Water Arabesque, equipping it to the Fire, and then use Arabesque effect to special a Mikanko from deck. So let's grab... I know what we're grabbing. We're going to grab Huli the Droll Mikanko, bounce that to hand. Huli triggers, since she's now equipped, she can search us a Mikanko trap. Rivalry. So now our hand is Rivalry, Fire, Ohime, and Clock Wyvern. And our board is getting pretty intense. Now what we can do is we can actually reveal the Ohime to search for a Mikanko card. And then discard a card. So why don't we grab a copy of Ceremony, and then we'll discard the Fire. We'll go Ceremony, summon Ohime, Ceremony's graveyard effect to send and equip from our deck to the grave, which can be the brand new male Washidori. We'll go Ohime effect to equip the male Washidori to herself, and then we'll set Rivalry and pass. And we still have a starter in hand for next turn. So that's our board with the 5-card hand that we just drew. We literally filled every single zone on our field. So we have Cyber's Quantum Dragon when we control links, so the opponent cannot attack anything, nor can anything be targeted. IP can quick link on the opponent's turn. We have the Omni Negate with Doombroker, and he will be reviving the fire when that occurs to get us another search. We have Ohime, who cannot be destroyed by card effects. Male Washidori to bounce anything at the end of damage step for our Mikanko's battle. Because Huli is on field and she's equipped, none of our Mikanko's cards can be targeted. And we have Rivalry, which we can use it to equip a spell to our opponent's monster, which from our deck, and that's going to be the copy of Reflection Rondo, which is a Snatch Steal. So then we can take control of an opponent's monster. Then at some point over the course of their turn, we can perform a massive Link Summon using IP's effect into our Firewall Dragon Singularity, where we can go ahead and bounce up to 3 cards the opponent controls and have an additional Spell Trap Negate out of our graveyard. That's Libro Mikanko post Cyberstorm Access. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this combo tutorial and test hand video. Thank you all so much for the 800 subs, and stay tuned on the channel, because coming up this week I have even more brand new deck profiles to bring you. With that being said, this is Nick signing out, and if you haven't checked out the deck profile, I'll leave a link in the description below. Peace.